Everything was ready, the dress, the guests, the banquet. An hour before the wedding, I found out that my fiancé was cheating on me with my friend. Instead of tears, I put on a white dress, went to the altar, and made both of them remember this day forever. I loved Trevor for 7 years. 7 years of building a life together, of planning and dreaming, of believing he was the one. We met during sophomore year of college, when I was still finding my way. Trevor was the guy who always held doors open, who remembered how I liked my coffee, who surprised me with little gifts for no reason at all. When he proposed on the beach at sunset in Malibu, I cried so hard I could barely say yes. I showed off my engagement ring to anyone who would look. My parents adored him. His parents welcomed me like a daughter. Everything felt right. I asked my best friend Sarah to be my maid of honor. We'd been close since high school, sharing every secret, every heartbreak. She helped me pick out my wedding dress, a beautiful A-line with delicate lace details that made me feel like a princess. She organized my bachelorette party in Vegas, taking endless photos of us laughing together. To my best friend and the perfect couple, she'd toasted, raising her champagne glass high. The wedding planning was stressful but exciting. I wanted everything to be perfect. Trevor seemed distracted sometimes, often working late or having guys' nights out, but I understood. His law firm was demanding, and wedding planning was overwhelming. I trusted him completely. The night before our wedding, we hosted a rehearsal dinner at Portofino's, an upscale Italian restaurant in downtown Chicago. 50 of our closest friends and family gathered to celebrate. Trevor's best man Jake gave a heartfelt speech about how Trevor had changed since meeting me, how I'd made him a better man. Sarah dabbed at her eyes, smiling at me from across the table. I felt truly blessed. Tomorrow, I would marry the love of my life, surrounded by everyone who mattered to us. My phone buzzed just as dessert was being served. A text from an unknown number: "I'm sorry to do this, but you deserve to know before tomorrow." Attached was a video clip. I excused myself to the restroom, locked myself in a stall, and pressed play. The timestamp showed it was from 3 days ago. The location was immediately recognizable, the Four Seasons in Maui, where Trevor and I had booked our honeymoon suite. But Trevor wasn't with me in the video. He was with Sarah. The footage showed them entering the hotel lobby, his arm around her waist, stealing kisses as they waited for the elevator. They looked comfortable together, practiced. This wasn't their first time. My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped my phone. I watched it again, hoping desperately I was mistaken. But there was no mistake. The way he looked at her, I knew that look. It was how he used to look at me. I texted back, "Who is this? How did you get this?" The reply came quickly, "I work at the hotel. I recognized him from your Instagram posts about your upcoming wedding." I couldn't stay silent. I sat there, my designer dress crumpled around me, struggling to breathe. 7 years. 7 years of my life with a man who could betray me like this. With my best friend, who had helped me address wedding invitations just last month. When I returned to the table, Sarah asked if I was okay. I looked at her concerned expression and marveled at her acting skills. "Just wedding jitters," I lied, matching her performance with one of my own. Trevor squeezed my hand under the table. "This time tomorrow, you'll be Mrs. Caldwell," he whispered, kissing my cheek. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the table, to show everyone the video, to humiliate them both right there. But something inside me went cold and calculating instead. "I can't wait," I smiled, squeezing his hand back. That night, I didn't sleep. I paced my hotel suite, watching the video over and over. I noted how Sarah wore the earrings I had given her for her birthday. How Trevor's watch, my Christmas gift to him, glinted as he pressed the elevator button. By morning, I had a plan. I went through with all the wedding preparations. My mother helped me into my dress, tears in her eyes as she fastened the tiny pearl buttons. "You're the most beautiful bride," she said, adjusting my veil. The makeup artist concealed the dark circles under my eyes. No one knew I had spent the night making arrangements, sending emails, making calls. The church looked stunning. White roses and lilies lined the aisle. The string quartet played softly as guests took their seats. My father waited to walk me down the aisle, proud and emotional. I peeked out and saw Trevor at the altar, handsome in his tuxedo. Sarah sat in the front row, wearing the dusty rose bridesmaid dress I had chosen for her, smiling serenely. "Ready, sweetheart?" my father asked. "Actually, Dad, there's been a slight change of plans," I said calmly. "I need to make an announcement before the ceremony. Can you ask the wedding planner to set up the projector we used for the rehearsal slideshow?" My father looked confused but did as I asked. I waited until everything was in place. The music stopped. The guests murmured in confusion. I walked down the aisle alone, my bouquet of white roses clutched tightly in my hands. Trevor's smile faltered when he saw my expression. I reached the altar and turned to face our guests. "Thank you all for coming today," I began, my voice stronger than I expected. This was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I nodded to the wedding planner, who started the video. The large screen behind the altar illuminated with crystal clarity, Trevor and Sarah entering the hotel, kissing, his hand sliding down to her waist in a gesture of intimate familiarity. Gasps echoed through the church. Sarah's face drained of color. Trevor lunged for the projector, but my brother intercepted him. "This was filmed 3 days ago," I continued as the video played. "At the Four Seasons in Maui. The hotel where my fiancé and I were supposed to spend our honeymoon." Trevor started to speak. "Madison, I can explain." "No need," I cut him off. "I think the video explains everything." I turned to Sarah, who was now shrinking in her seat, all eyes on her. "Sarah, you've been my best friend since we were 15. You helped me pick out this dress. You knew how much I loved him." Her eyes filled with tears. "Maddie, please. Save it," I said. Then I smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. "But I should thank you both. You've taught me an invaluable lesson about trust." I handed Trevor an envelope. "These are the receipts for our wedding. The venue, the catering, the flowers, everything. I've transferred all payment responsibility to you and Sarah as of this morning. My father's card has been removed from the vendor agreements." Trevor opened the envelope, his face paling as he scanned the documents. The total exceeded $75,000. "You'll also find a copy of the email I sent to your law firm's partners last night, with this same video attached. I believe they have strict morality clauses in their partnership track, don't they? Something about conduct unbecoming." His jaw tightened. Trevor had been up for junior partner next month. I turned to the guests. "There will still be a reception, if anyone wishes to attend. The food is paid for, well, it will be, by these two. I, however, have a different destination." I reached into a hidden pocket in my dress and pulled out a plane ticket. "I'll be going to Bali instead of Maui. Alone. I've heard it's wonderful this time of year." I faced Trevor one last time. "You once told me you'd never hurt me." That was a lie. But today's revelation is my gift to you both, no more lies, no more pretending. I tossed my bouquet. It landed at Sarah's feet. "You can have him. But just remember, if he cheated with you, he'll cheat on you." With that, I walked back down the aisle, head held high, ignoring the chaos erupting behind me. Trevor's mother was shouting. Sarah was crying. My parents looked stunned, but there was pride in their eyes as I passed. Outside, a taxi waited, another arrangement I'd made in the sleepless night. "Airport, please," I told the driver as I slid into the back seat, wedding dress and all. As we pulled away, I glanced back at the church. People were spilling out, some on phones, others gesturing wildly. Trevor burst through the doors, scanning frantically until he spotted my departing taxi. He started running after us, but it was too late. I deleted his number from my phone and blocked him on all social media. Then I texted the anonymous hotel employee, "Thank you. You saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life." The reply came moments later, "Karma comes for everyone eventually. Safe travels." 6 hours later, I was on a plane to Bali, still in my wedding dress because my luggage was in Trevor's car. The flight attendant took one look at me and upgraded me to first class. "Rough day?" she asked gently. "Actually," I said, accepting a glass of champagne, "I think it's the first day of the rest of my life." I later heard that Trevor and Sarah had a screaming match in the church parking lot. The catering company demanded payment before serving the food, and when Trevor's credit card was declined, Sarah had to call her parents. The hotel in Maui refused to refund the honeymoon suite, which remained empty. Trevor's law firm put his partnership review on hold pending an ethics investigation. Sarah lost most of our mutual friends, who couldn't forgive her betrayal. As for me, I spent 2 weeks in Bali, buying new clothes, swimming in the ocean, and rediscovering who I was outside of Trevor's fiancé. I made new friends, including a kind diving instructor who taught me how to explore coral reefs and who never once made me feel like I wasn't enough. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just exposing the truth, it's finding your own happiness in spite of those who tried to take it from you. I won't pretend it didn't hurt. Some nights I still cry, mourning the future I thought we would have. But I never regret my decision to walk away with my dignity intact. In choosing myself, I found strength I never knew I had. Trevor still calls sometimes from blocked numbers. I never answer. Sarah sent a long apology email that I deleted without reading. Some wounds don't heal, they become part of who you are. But I'm learning that's okay. The scars remind me of what I survived, what I'm capable of enduring. And on difficult days, I remember how it felt to walk out of that church, free from lies and betrayal, ready to write a new story, my own.